What's going on, everybody? So today we have a new build for you all. I got to 480 a little while ago and I want to go ahead and push some challenge rifts here. So I figured now's the perfect time to kind of showcase the new challenge rift build I'm going to be kind of experimenting with a little bit here. But basically, the idea is to use the fire and ice mechanics that they've kind of introduced with the new legendary items, specifically this shoulder affinity spiral. Meteor now deals 56% increased damage to frozen targets. Now the key word is frozen, so it's not chilled, it has to be frozen. So Ray of Frost, for example, will not work unless you have the Shiver Sense Stare item. So you can see it now freezes enemies, but I didn't really want to run Ray of Frost plus Shiver Sense Stare. That's using an item that I really like to be Mask of Illusions, and it's also using a skill slot that prevents me from kind of keeping moving, which is annoying. So we're using Mask of Illusions, Frost Reaver's Garments. This is going to go ahead and have enemies be chilled by Ice Crystal. Ice Crystal actually does a ton of damage, and I'll show you guys just that in a second. Affinity Spiral, Star Caller's Breaches. This is going to make Meteor a larger radius and do a lot of damage, and that's important because not all your enemies are going to be staying in the same place all the time, so the larger radius really helps out. Then we're using Devastation. This is going to make Arcane Wind a single target, or I shouldn't say single target, but a straight line skill shot that's actually going to damage enemies in a line, and you're gonna get 2 charges of it. And then here's the other new item, Alder Crystal. So Arcane Wind now freezes chilled enemies for 2.1 seconds and cannot occur more than once every 3 seconds. So the idea behind this is we drop our Ice Crystal. Now we're starting to chill enemies. We drop this, and then we drop Meteor right on top of it. And that tornado is actually going to go ahead and amplify our Meteor's damage by actually freezing the chilled enemies. Pretty cool. I thought this was an interesting build that I wanted to showcase for you all. The fire and ice combo that is actually really strong for challenge rifts. Now again, I'm not going to claim that this is the absolute best build ever, because everyone seems to have a problem with everyone else's build. No matter what you do, everyone's always going to have a problem. We're going to jump up to 235. I actually have no idea what the combat rating is for this one. We're looking for about pushing about 400 over. I don't want to sit here and try to min-max to try to go 500, 600, 700 over. I just want to get a reasonable test in, and then I'm going to do all the other ones below that. We're also running Magic Missile here because, well, it's going to be the higher single target damage skill, which is important for the boss, because we are going to struggle a little bit on the boss. But you can see here, we are, oh, this is only about 40 combat rating below. So let's actually jump up a little bit higher and see if we can go 5 levels higher than this. So 240. Let's pop out of here, hop over to 240, and let's see what we could do with that, because I think that we should be able to do 240. So let's try that one. Boom. It looks like Hell 8 victory rewards is 238, so that's important to know for the future. But I should be able to get that just by doing 240 here. There should be a lot of extra combat rating just farming these ones, right, for the upgrades for your set items. So definitely recommend doing this. This is, yeah, so this is about 400 higher. And the idea here is, once again, we're going to drop the crystal. You can see it starts to freeze enemies. Then we freeze them or chill them, and then we drop the meteor, and that's the kind of combo right there. So they're frozen for quite some time, and then we could drop another Arcane Wind to freeze them again. And look at that CC. It's actually a very strong CC combo. But we can't sit here and just test it out forever, otherwise we will lose the challenge rift. That was really strong. I mean, check that out. The wind comes in, you blast them, and oh man, we have a lot of ranged characters here, so this might be a lot more tough than what I'm hoping for. But yeah, that was really powerful, actually. That was really strong. And okay, yeah, these spiders are kind of one-shotting me. Let me just drop a clone here, try to distract a little bit. I need to gather up a little bit more enemies here if I plan on, you know, really pushing the challenge rift here. So we freeze them, we drop the ice crystal, we freeze them with the arcane wind, and then we drop the meteor, and then we can do it again. By the time the freeze kind of expires, we can actually land it a second time, which is pretty amazing, actually. It's really powerful. I really like this combo, actually. The only thing I'm a little concerned about is our single turret damage for the boss, which I think could be a little troubling. But we're gonna get some blues here. We got a yellow here, probably not worth taking out the yellow, but we gotta take care of these blues here. So we're gonna drop the ice crystal and then freeze everyone here. Look at that, it's so powerful actually. Drop another freeze. Look at that, it's so good actually. The thing is also that, oh wow, our arcane wind just got absorbed by the wall, I guess. The thing is, we just don't quite have insane amounts of damage. The CC is very high, right? Which is very, very powerful. But the question is, do we have the damage, right? Because we can just CC them an absolute buttload. But, oh man, these spiders are absolutely wrecking me. I really, really like the CC. That's the best part about this build. But the damage is a little low. Let me just see here. There we go. Check out these blues here. And there we go. So we're taking out the blues. Let's move on to the next pack. This one might be kind of out of our control. We might have to restart here, to be honest. Looks like we're in a kind of a circle. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pop out of this one and restart this one because there's a lot of ranged characters, which kind of is really hard to dodge all of them, even though I'm not really doing a very good job right now. Let's pop out of this one and see if we can find an easier challenge rift here. So we're in the next challenge rift, and this one does have a couple of ranged characters, but most of the time these elves are going to be, or elves, I'm not even sure actually, but most of the time these guys are going to be melee, so we could and should be able to CC them and deal with them not too difficult. So we're going to go ahead and jump up front, gather up all these blues here actually. That one has a laser beam, let's go ahead and run away from that. Gather up all these and try to do some big damage. So this is what we're looking for. Let's go ahead and freeze them, drop the meteor, and looks like they're all running towards the ice crystal, but we just have to freeze them a couple of times here. We want to try to preserve our lives. Of course, we're going to drop another meteor and see how much damage we can do. We didn't pull the other blue pack, which is a little unfortunate. We're trying to get these blues together. We actually did quite a bit of damage to that blue pack. And it's important to note that the Firestorm combo still applies with this build. So Arcane Wind doesn't just freeze, as you can see here, it also does more damage if you have the fire active, the meteor active. And look at that damage. That was actually really, really powerful. Again, we are 400 combat rating below, which is a reasonable push up. You could do a little bit higher for sure, definitely with the right RNG and everything. This is really, really good to see. That's kind of what I was hoping from this build, is just to see very high group damage when you're starting to group up the enemies. And then you're going to have a lot less time for the boss because, you know, your build isn't necessarily meant for single target damage, but that's okay if you're able to make up the time in this kind of area of the game, right? If you're able to clear enemies much faster, you can have a lot more time for the boss. And we're actually getting damaged by a bunch of these ranged characters, and I just saw that arrow. I knew that was going to hit me and kill me. But we should be able to group up. We need to group up these blues here, and it's really difficult because these blues have these lasers, and they just won't budge. And then we have these arrows, or the archers shooting at us while we're trying to run around and pick up these blues, which is making it a little tricky for us, but hopefully we can get, oh man, another laser just murdered me. Very awkward in terms of the abilities that they have because it's a lock-on. So if I'm just near them, they just lock onto me. And then of course, again, the archers are just shooting through us, or at us in these corridors here. But we have that, and we can pop that, try to drop a clone behind us, drop the freezing crystal. Let's teleport over here, gather them all up, and hopefully we got a CC on them. Ooh, hopefully they don't reset here by the time I respawn. Okay, yeah, that was close. We are losing a little bit of time here in the fact that I have to keep reviving. These corridors are really, really not good for us, to be honest. These are really, really bad for us. All right, there we go. This is a better situation that we got going on here. Hopefully we have an ice crystal coming back up just a little bit. Oh no, the blue reset on us. Okay, that's gonna be that group killed. And then we're gonna move on to the next one. Come on. Oh man, these archers are killing me. Jeez. Come on. Oh my goodness, why does this guy like reset? Are you kidding me? Oh man, the stairs here is really causing us a big problem, to be honest. But we did get that one down. So now we just have one last one left, and we should be able to kill them here. There we go. There's the second blue pack. Maybe a decent time. It's not the best. I would have hoped for a little bit better, but it's definitely not bad. Actually, this is going to be a dead end, isn't it? Yep. So we do not want to fight this yellow. It's going to take way too long. Honestly, we're just gonna have to keep going towards this direction. Again, the question is, can we beat the boss in time? And I'm not sure. The one thing is, I actually don't have set items on me right now because I did farm some health 7, and I don't have the right set pieces because I wasn't sure what I wanted to go for. And so, you know, we don't really have much, but gray set is the perfect one for this because we're going to be hitting enemies a lot of times with the meteor. And ooh, look at this group. This is perfect. This should be the just amount of kills, right amount of kills that we need for us to go ahead and get the bar filled. Let's drop the another arcane wind there. Drop another one. And there we go. I mean, look at this. Ooh, we just got hit by a blast from one of the wizards. Okay. You don't even have to use the arcane wind purely with the ice crystal either. It actually does a lot of damage still just from dropping it in the midst of the fire. And that's the thing that you have to get used to. And I actually am misplaying it just a little bit because you do want to make sure you're dropping the arcane wind as much time as you possibly can when meteor is active, because it will increase that damage by 50%, which is pretty important. Let's see what boss we get. We did get Crusader King, which can be quite a tough one, honestly. I can't believe that actually just hit me right there, because they do spawn a lot of the ranging units, which can be very tricky sometimes. For example, there's the spawn of all the units, and we have a lot of archers shooting at us, which can be very tricky. So not the greatest boss to fight against, but if we kill off some of the archers, it's not that bad. The problem is that we do have to make sure that we're not just ignoring the archers, because they will kill us if we're not paying attention. Pop the ultimate here. You can see we're actually taking a ton of damage from these archers back here, but we did kill them all off, so that's pretty nice. And here comes some more spawning. There we go. And we're going to try to avoid them at all costs. But man, is the archers tough. Crusader King, again, is not a good one to get. It's not the worst, but it's definitely one of the tougher ones for sure. Let's see here. Let's drop the arcane wind once again. We got a couple health glows. I'm going to try to save those as much as possible for when we actually need them. We're about a third of the way through, which isn't bad. It's definitely not bad. Okay, we're gonna need some health globes here. Let's pick those up. The archers at the spawns, I mean, it's just so often, and it blocks our projectiles because our basic actually doesn't go through the other skeletons. So that's like a double whammy, is that we can't just basic through these guys. Oftentimes we have to kill them in order to actually reach the boss, and you have to deal with the skeletons. So it's a pretty rough one. But as I mentioned, this is the tough part about the fight, is doing the boss damage, right? We don't really have a ton of boss damage. Our main strength is going to be the ability to clear through waves significantly faster, and then hopefully that transitions ourselves into a kind of like a safety net of time. Ooh, we're gonna have to lose 17 seconds for that one. That was pretty bad. These archers again are just absolutely annihilating me. Let's drop the ice crystal here once again. Drop the meteor and see if I can freeze some of the archers. Let's dodge the attack there. Ooh. We did get some more health globes here. The one bonus thing about the Crusader King is that you do get a lot of health globe regeneration from killing off the small ads. But, you know, that is something to consider. Woo! We really cannot die again, otherwise we will lose. Let's see. Drop the ice crystal in the middle of all that. We should be able to freeze all these guys. Drop the meteor. The other thing about this build is that because we have to freeze the enemies in order for us to do more damage with meteor, it does not work against bosses, right? So that whole ability combo does not work against bosses at all. So that again is another detriment towards its damage towards the bosses. But we're 33% of the way from victory, and we just cannot die again. And oh my goodness, that was really close there. That was a little too close for my liking, but that's okay. I don't know if we're gonna make it here. Maybe if we hadn't died and we lost that 17 seconds, we might have had a better shot, but I mean, it is very, very close here, so maybe we can. These skeletons are really just blocking all my autos here, and it's pretty rough. We get to ult here, which should be pretty good for us. Ooh, another skeleton group just spawned, and ooh. It's getting a little tricky here. We're 200k HP. Oh, we're so close. We're so close. We do have to keep the boss within the range of the ice crystal. We need as much damage as we can deal. Just teleporting back and forth. We failed at 128k HP left, but I think you guys kind of get the point of the build. The build isn't the best at dealing with bosses, but it is pretty good at dealing with the kind of units around the map. I think if we got an easier boss, it would have been totally fine. Going against a Crusader King is one of the worst things that the wizard can do, because again, when we have to basic, we have to sit there and launch a missile, right? Electrocute would have been a little bit easier to hit the boss with, so maybe I should have swapped in the middle of that. But the problem is that skeletons are blocking our missile, and on top of that, we're getting shot by archers the entire time. So I would have rather had a lot of different bosses besides Crusader King. But other than that, guys, I just wanted to showcase this build that I've been using very recently. I've pushed up a couple challengers, but these ones are pretty easy, so it's not really that big of a deal. I just wanted to see how it worked against stage 240. So thought it would be kind of fun. Again, it's not the best build ever. I think that the best build is going to be a combination of running a wave clearing build while actually being able to swap your build midway to deal with the boss. And this one doesn't really give you that option because your items really don't work against the boss, right? This shoulder piece does not work against the boss. The Alder Crystal does not work against the boss. So both those items are completely useless against the boss, but the other ones do work. So it's okay. It's just not the greatest for single target damage. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thought it'd be kind of fun just to release this video, even though, you know, it may not be the best build. So if you guys did enjoy, be sure to like the video and sub to the channel. I'll see you all tomorrow.